Film in the Golden Era. From the time of around 1930 to 1945, Hollywood studio filmmaking was in its prime, known as the Golden Era. This era is when the film studios created several types of genres and various storylines to please and keep its audience growing. The film industry was still young and growing during this era, which in turn creates an enormous amount of potential in all movies that were created in this period. The Maltese Falcon, which was directed by John Huston, is an example of how the Golden Era came to a turning point in its films. Through the use of film noir, the production code, and the iconic female actresses of the time, this golden era is the most important and defining time in the history of Hollywood filmmaking. One of the most important styles, known as film noir, was developed during this period of time. Film noir consists of the elements that make up a film, such as the lighting, shadows and angles, and guns and violence that appear throughout a film. Most films were filmed in black and white, not just because they were made in the early period of Hollywood filmmaking, but this lack of color emphasizes the shadows in the movies. The dark lighting suggests that there can be more than what meets the eyes in these films. The use of smoking, character smoking, is a very important feature in film noir. The use of smoke suggests mystery within the scene or the person in the scene. The guns and violence, which are seen in most film noir films of the Golden Era, bring action into the film by creating a sense of danger and excitement. The typical gun used in these films is a handgun, which is easily hidden so that it can cause surprise in the movies. Mise-en-scene is a film consists of the actors, props, costumes, and scenery in which the film takes place. The film, The Maltese Falcon, uses balanced, low-contrast lighting with the character angle mostly at eye level. The use of shadows and darkness in this film depict the all-around mood of secrecy and a dark doom that awaits the characters. The mise-en-scene throughout the film is fairly constant. The setting rarely shifts from apartments and offices, and the characters never change their appearance significantly. Film noir is not just confined to the elements of the film, but it also includes the characters that embody the film as well. These types of characters could include a film hero and a femme fatale. The film, The Maltese Falcon, includes both of these character types in its contents. The leading character, Sam Spade, acts as the hero, specifically the protagonist hero. In an essay titled The Outer Limits of Film Noir, Paul Schrader writes, Sam Spade fits the image of the film noir protagonist to the extent that he is a tarnished hero, not bound by conventional rules of morality, with an uncompromising and fatalistic view of the world. Spade shows his protagonistic side during various stages in the film. In the beginning of the film, Sam Spade shows his greedy side when he gives a certain look when his client opens her purse, revealing federal cash. Later on in the film, Spade reveals a lack of compassion and a love for cruelty, when he pauses and grins deviously before preparing to knock Joel Cairo unconscious. Brigid O'Shaughnessy, who is also known as Miss Wonderly, portrays the femme fatale. Miss Wonderly is a beautiful, manipulative, and dangerous and compulsive liar. She tries to use her femininity to charm men into believing what she says and doing what she wants. She is a very strong character, but is only loyal to herself, meaning that she does what is in her best interest only. We realize this when O'Shaughnessy falsely represents herself as Miss Wonderly in the beginning of the film. Proving her sexuality and selfishness, Schrader writes, Brigid uses Floyd Thursby and attempts to use Sam Spade as protection against Gutman and Cairo, apparently with the intention of discarding them when they have served their purpose. Sex is her only weapon, and she uses it often and very effectively. These film noir characters are a distinguishing factor between a film before and during the golden era of Hollywood filmmaking. The production code that was established in 1930 put a big strain on the productions of films, but also set the standard of filmmaking to the highest level it had ever been at. This code spelled out what was acceptable and what was unacceptable content for motion pictures produced for a public audience in the United States. The production code was created when it was decided that Hollywood's image needed to be rehabilitated because of several risque films and a series of off-screen scandals involving Hollywood stars. The code states that movies are entertainment, but of a very peculiar kind, which produces strange effects never encountered before as part of any entertainment. Effects which threaten to compromise the morality of movie viewers so powerfully that movie makers must censor themselves. Though the code was in effect, many films such as Babyface, Gold Diggers of 1933, She Done Him Wrong, and I Am No Angel had the code of production by stretching it to its limits or just disregarding it in its entirety. These films had to pay a fine and were not allowed to profit in the theaters. For the remaining time of the Golden Era, films were either approved by the code for release or not, and the major studios would not release a film without the code seal of approval. This code disagreed with almost everything the Spectator Theory says. For instance, the Spectator Theory says that the Hollywood movies are constructed by projecting an audience of persons completely identical to each other, Or in other words, it says that movies are set up so that each person creates a response non-representational from their position in society into an identically inspiring position. Hays Code simply says that it takes more to deal with the variations of audiences, so you might as well just structure each movie to imply an identical, white, middle-class, male spectator. Even some of the greatest films of the Golden Era, such as The Maltese Falcon, had to be altered because of the limitations of the production code. Some of these changes consisted of Spade's attitude toward the police and lawyers, the use of alcohol, and the implicit sex between Spade and Bridget. The female actresses of the Hollywood Golden Era created a new standard for women in the film industry. These women became famous not just for their looks and sexuality, but because of the talent they possessed and showed in their films. The Maltese Falcon stars Mary Astor, one of the most iconic women of the Hollywood Golden Era. Astor is most known in her role as Bridget in The Maltese Falcon, where she played the femme fatale. The leading ladies in this era include, but are not limited to, Katharine Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Grace Kelly, and Myrna Loy. Katharine Hepburn was known for her fierce independence and spirited personality. For more than 60 years, Hepburn was an iconic woman of the Golden Era, starring in a range of genres. Marilyn Monroe was the most famous woman of her time. In an article written by Chris Whiteley, he writes, "Yet, in that short 16-year period, in that handful of films, she became not just a popular movie star, but an international icon, a huge celebrity and the most famous woman on the planet. She became the personification of the allure and glamour of Hollywood's golden age." Elizabeth Taylor is known as a legend of the Hollywood Golden Era. Her talent and beauty are what sparked her career at the age of 12. In 1960, she was the highest paid actress of that time, and in her later life, she was named a dame. Grace Kelly is known as the timeless screen beauty of Hollywood. She won an Academy Award in 1954 and appeared in her last film in 1956. Myrna Loy was one of Hollywood's most popular leading ladies with a career that consisted of 129 movies. She was voted the Queen of Hollywood and was the highest paid actress of the 1930s. This period was simply the greatest collection of female talent at one time in history, which led to the incredible standard that was set. The Hollywood Golden Era was a cornerstone of filmmaking. This era led to new discoveries in film production, iconic films and stars, and to the guidelines that are set for the films of today. The Maltese Falcon is one of the films that turned the corner from the old film industry to the new. Film noir led to the new and improved styles and genres of filmmaking, along with the elements that were included in the films. The production code created a set of guidelines for the films to follow, which encouraged audiences of all ages to attend the films. The iconic actresses that partook in these screenings set the tone for the up-and-coming future actresses. They allowed women to have a new role in Hollywood and showcased not only their sexuality, but also their talent. This period from about 1930 to 1945 gave a new meaning to the film industry and created a standard for all films that were created after to be set.